Jurassic World Rebirth is coming closer day by day as we start to finalise the month of February. Just 5 more months to go now until the 7th movie of the franchise is released. But just because we're still that far away doesn't mean we won't get more reveals for the movie. For quite some time now, we've had a pretty accurate understanding of the roster list for which dinosaurs will be featured in this movie, some of which we only have names for and haven't seen a lot of quite yet. That's until now. Some new toy reveals have finally given our first look of the species and may also contain some spoilers for the movie as well, so please note this down now. This video might contain spoilers for what to expect going into Jurassic World Rebirth, so make sure you stay aware of that. If you're looking for one place on YouTube for all of your latest Jurassic content, then look no further as we've got you covered, so be sure you're subscribed for content from the movies, the shows, and even the video games of the franchise. But for now, let's get into those new toy reveals for Jurassic World Rebirth. So as a disclaimer, I just want to make you guys aware that I am fully aware that toys don't necessarily always mean they are featured in the show or the movie. Take the Camp Cretaceous toy line for example. There are loads of toys under the Camp Cretaceous name that just don't appear in Camp Cretaceous, and the same thing is happening with Chaos Theory, and I think even happened for the previous Jurassic World movies as well. So yeah, I am well aware that this doesn't necessarily mean they will be in the movie, but there are some toy lines specifically that are based on the events of what occur throughout this timeline. And this is where I thoroughly believe that the toys we'll be talking about today intertwine with that statement. I do believe that these toys do feature some scenes from the movie themselves, so again, spoiler warning. But let's get into the very first one, which isn't too much. It's a Raptor skull mask, which you probably have seen on TikTok as a trend to put on your dinosaurs. They're kind of like the Daredevil dog of the Jurassic franchise. That meme is amazing. I love the Daredevil dog. But yes, we do have the Raptor masks, and I think we've had this for Camp Cretaceous, Chaos Theory, Jurassic World Dominion, Fallen Kingdom, all of the Jurassic stuff basically. And it seems like it's no different for Jurassic World Rebirth. But why am I talking about this one specifically? Because there is also a Spinosaurus one we do get to see, but this one here, it's a dinosaur that we don't really know too much about. It's a dinosaur that has a different colour scheme to anything that we've seen revealed so far, and it looks more like a dromaeosaurid. Now, if I was to base it off what we've already seen in the franchise, it looks very similar to Jurassic World Evolution's Deinonychus. But of course, I do not believe that this is the Deinonychus. I believe that this is probably the female raptor of Jurassic World Rebirth. Of course, just last week we got the full reveal of the male raptor for Jurassic World Rebirth, and we do know that there is a 2-headed raptor in that chamber in the trailer, and we suspect that one to be female, but we also suspect it to also be one of the originals because that chamber just looks way too pristine and polished to be modern day and be very old. So we're expecting that to be some kind of flashback. But if it's not and that raptor is modern day, this mask might be based off that raptor where it actually has a red skull pattern instead. As I said, not too much to go off, but it is interesting because this is something we haven't seen before. But sticking on topic with the Velociraptors of Jurassic World Rebirth, we had it revealed last week, but here is a better look of the Jurassic World male Velociraptor, and it just came to my head right now. They do not care about hiding the Velociraptor. It's like last week I mentioned on my podcast that I'm really excited for the Velociraptor because it hasn't been revealed, and then suddenly, here it is. It's just there. But yes, this is a very good look at the male Velociraptor that we suspect will be in the movie, and it's the one with the tapping of the claws, or the walking of the claws, shall we say, from the trailer. And to be honest, this one looks a lot better than the one that we got in that photo balloon looking thing from that one anagram company. Because that one I think was based off the blue render from Jurassic World. This one actually looks very more authentic and actually looks like it belongs in Jurassic World Rebirth. The colour scheme looks really good. I love the blend between the red to the yellow oranges and then to the blue on its eye. It just looks magnificent. But I'm sure your eyes have darted over to the right hand side of the image where we also get to see the Jurassic World or Jurassic Park Jeep owned by InGen. We've seen behind the scenes shots of this previously many months ago, way before the trailer actually. So we do know that this vehicle was going to be in the movie. I think this leaked maybe in October of 2024, but what we didn't know is that Martin Krebs will be in it as well. We do get a very quick shot of this in the trailer, so judging by what we can assume happens with the toys and what happens in the trailer, maybe that scene from the trailer is actually Martin Krebs trying to hunt down this Velociraptor. We have our suspicions about Martin for a long time now, because we don't believe that he is all that seems to be. And if they only need the DNA for the Titanosaurus, the Quetzalcoatlus and the Mosasaurus, why is there a toy showing him on this Jeep shooting a net at the Velociraptor? Why does he want that Velociraptor? I don't know. There's clearly something up with Martin here, and I think this toy kind of reaffirms my suspicions about him. But yes, this is a very cool look at maybe the sequence that we saw in the trailer and also the Velociraptor. But next up we have our very first species look at the Aquilops. Now this little guy, isn't he cute? We learned that the Aquilops was going to be in a movie many months ago, and it was described more as a pet dinosaur that would follow the characters throughout the movie. Now this dinosaur we haven't seen anywhere at all, and it wasn't even in the trailer, but this is confirmed as Aquilops dolaris, I think that's how you say it. So it is safe to assume that this toy is based off what we do get to see in the movie of Jurassic World Rebirth, and it does look, of course, very cute. It seems like Bumpy has had a really big threshold on the franchise, because ever since then, we've had a baby dinosaur or a cute dinosaur of some kind. I was expecting more quills on the Aquilops, but I think this is all we're going to get so far. It's got some very heavy looking eyebrows by the looks of it, but a really nice orange and beige and red colour scheme with some black stripes going down its tail. This guy is very small and around the same size as the Microceratus, I think. But that still makes me question, if these dinosaurs were too dangerous for the original park, what on earth did this Aquilops do that was so bad for it to be thrown onto this island with the rest of the dinosaurs? How is this guy too dangerous? Did he just bite way too many ankles? I don't know, I'm interested to see how they explain this. But now we move on to the toys that reveal more interesting factors about the movie and possibly even some scene sequences. This toy right here is just a Mosasaurus head, but back in the 90s I believe there was very similar toys like this for Jurassic, or at least dinosaur toys, and they actually open up and they feature some other things inside. Now the first one I want to talk about is the one with the Tyrannosaurus, because this one here actually features something that has gone rather under the radar when these images were posted on Twitter. Now we take a look at them, we can quite clearly see that we have a Triceratops skull of some kind. Now we do expect the Triceratops to appear in the movie based off the leaks, but we're actually expecting it to be alive, not the fossil as this toy is featuring. Underneath the fossil it seems like there is some kind of raptor head there as well, but there is another head to the left, and right there clearly shows some kind of Parasaurolophus, you would think. But as you can tell, the head crest is very short. Now there are some rumours circulating that this Parasaurolophus that was leaked ages ago, months ago, for Jurassic World Rebirth, has now actually been digitally altered to be a Maiasaura for the movie instead. I don't quite know how they have got to that conclusion, we're just going to have to wait and see in the movie, but that would actually explain why we have the more modern variant that was made by Biosyn in 2022 on this mysterious left behind island that supposedly had the dinosaurs from 30-40 years ago. That to me just didn't really make any sense, but if they are going to change it to be Maiasaura and that's why the crest is very short in this toy, then that does start to make somewhat sense. But another look at this exact same toy, we can see this Parasaurolophus in the water, which is very similar to the one that we actually get to see, I think, in the Jurassic Park ride at Universal Orlando, I believe. Again, with the small head crest here, we get to see that raptor skull looking thing actually come out of the skeletal structure of this Triceratops, and I can't quite make out what dinosaur this is. It looks like the color scheme of the Baryonyx and even stands like the Baryonyx, but the skull obviously is not the Baryonyx. It's, I don't even know, like a Dromaeosaurid, a Tyrannosaurid of some kind. I don't know, but it is grey in nature and it seems to be another new species that we haven't quite seen. But something else that we weren't expecting in Jurassic World Rebirth is that if we scroll up just a little bit, we get to look at an Ankylosaurus. Now I do presume this to be an Ankylosaurus because Ankylosaurus is a big major part of the Jurassic franchise now, but this is one of the newest colour schemes for this dinosaur, with beige and dark browns going down its back. And also its belly as well, and I don't think we've seen anything like that. The most similar one that I can think of is Jurassic Park 3's red Ankylosaurus, but besides that, I think that's Ankylosaurus added to the roster now. So let's look at the other species head. The next one is the Spinosaurus, and the Spinosaurus one is quite interesting. We have the 3 Spinosauruses that we see from the trailer in this image, and as we did suspect for quite some time now, they don't actually have the same pattern on their spine. This toy pretty much showcases that. We have one with horizontal stripes, one with vertical stripes, and one with no stripes whatsoever, just they fade. So that does confirm our theories and speculation from the trailer breakdown. One of them does look to be a lot smaller than the others, but that might just be for the sake of the toy. But in this image, it pretty much showcases these Spinosauruses going onto the land, so I can only presume that these Spinosauruses will eventually make their way on land. And there is one scene in a behind the scenes footage showcasing both Zora Bennett and Martin Krebs running on the beach away from something. So maybe that sequence is where they're running away from the Spinosauruses. On the right hand side of this skull, we get to see some character, not too sure who, running into the water where there's a Mosasaurus head. So that might be showcasing one of the deaths within the movie, where maybe they just run into the water and they actually end up getting killed by the Mosasaurus. But then we move on to the big Mosasaurus skull head, and what's inside? There's a lot inside. This is where spoilers start, okay? Big spoilers. Here we are. Firstly, let's go starting from the top. At the very top, it's a really nice nod to the nest, the egg nest of the Quetzalcoatlus that we see in the trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. So we do get a better look at the blues on the wing of the Quetzalcoatlus in this toy image, but it's not really too much to go off that's brand new. On the bottom of the skull, we clearly get to see the, well, white, black and red of the boat that we've seen in the trailer, surrounded by 3 Spinosauruses and also the Mosasaurus. Now it is worth noting that the Spinosaurus with this faded colour pattern on its spine is not featured in this toy for some reason, so maybe there might be a hint to maybe 4 Spinosauruses in the movie? Who knows? But we do get to see this boat clearly sinking into the water with the Spinosauruses and the Mosasaurus attacking it. The Mosasaurus is on top, so I can only presume that moment in the trailer where the Mosasaurus shoots up into the sky, knocks the boat, knocks somebody over to the side, and the Spinosaurus jumps out, maybe kills them. That could be the sequence where this boat basically topples over into the water and then maybe starts the adventure on Rebirth Island. Who knows? But that's basically the water sequence that we kind of think is going to happen in Jurassic World Rebirth. So let's go to the middle of this toy. Man, there's a lot to unpack here. So let's start with the Titanosaurus. We clearly see the Titanosaurus there. It's a better look at the color palette and the patterns of this dinosaur. I think in the trailer we basically get to see more of a greenish looking Titanosaur, but in this one it's more grays, dark grays, let's just say that. So maybe there are 3 Titanosauruses in the movie than to the 2 that we see in the trailer. There's also a helicopter here as well. Now there is one image, a behind the scenes image that revealed a helicopter crash being filmed for Jurassic World Rebirth, and ever since then we haven't really understood where that kind of fits in place with the plot, because we know that they enter the island via a boat, but clearly it is being involved in some capacity. Now we do see that it is connected to some kind of slab that I can presume you kind of move upwards towards the egg nest, so maybe the way that they got to the egg nest in the first place was via helicopter that eventually gets attacked by the Quetzalcoatluses, very similar in reminiscence to what we got in Jurassic World Dominion where the Quetzalcoatlus attacks the plane. So maybe that's what the helicopter is being used for. We also get to see one of the chambers that holds one of the dinosaurs in the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer where they're pretty much empty, so I'm not too sure why it's featured in this toy. Maybe it has more of an impact later on in the movie, but what does have the biggest impact in the movie is the reveal of the D.Rex. Now right here is basically our first look at this D.Rex model, or official model shall we say, and may I just say, GojiCenter really did cook with this. I asked him if I'm able to use his footage in my videos because pretty much he's the only one out there who's actually showcased what the D.Rex could look like, and him and his team have done a fantastic job, and honestly, more credit goes out to them. That model that we get to see in his video looks almost identical to the one that we actually get here, which is the official model, presumably. So it just looks fantastic and a lot better than most people were thinking. I still don't like it. I feel like they could have gone down a much better route, but either way, it's a lot better than what we initially got through the trailer of Jurassic World Rebirth. However, in the background you do see there's a lot of red, and as we have said in my previous video where we talked about the colours of Jurassic World Rebirth, red is correlated with the D.Rex, and they want you to connect the colour red with the dinosaur of the D.Rex. But also there is a big door behind it as well, so whilst initially we were thinking that this is a flashback sequence because this D.Rex clearly looks a lot smaller than the other one we get to see in the trailer, maybe it isn't a flashback and this actually is the breakout sequence for the D.Rex to start roaming on the island, who knows? But either way, this is our very first look at it, and I think that's pretty much all of the main images I wanted to talk about. There are some other images out there, some new toy reveals. I would highly recommend going to Collect Jurassic on Twitter, as he covers pretty much all of the toys, but overall, these are the main ones that I wanted to talk about because they reveal a decent amount for Jurassic World Rebirth and actually gets us quite excited for the movie as well. So yeah, a fair few amount of reveals showcased right there. Even our first look at the Ankylosaurus too. It's pretty interesting to see how some of these things are shaping up to be in this movie, and if anything, it's making the plot of Jurassic World Rebirth just that little bit more interesting in my opinion. It actually has me intrigued now. But what do you guys think? Well, head on down to the comments and discuss amongst yourselves. Why not like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. But most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.